The Roman Empire was a vast civilization ruling across the Mediterranean. Its armies expanded through conquests, and its culture penetrated far into the provinces. At the heart of this power, there were not only wars, but also spectacles. For the Roman people, entertainment was an inseparable part of daily life. They spent their time at theater plays, chariot races, and wild beast hunts. But the most thrilling of all spectacles were the gladiatorial combats. At the very center of Rome stood the Colosseum, rising with its massive stone walls. This enormous structure could host tens of thousands of spectators and reflected the empire's grandeur. Its survival to this day proves the strength of its construction. On show days, the people of Rome crowded the gates of the Colosseum. From the poorest to the richest, from slaves to senators, everyone gathered in this arena. Here, social divisions disappeared, and all shared the same excitement. The origins of gladiatorial combat go back even before Rome, to the Etruscans. They staged such fights to honor the souls of the dead. Over time, these rituals turned into bloody entertainment in Rome. The first fights in Rome were small, usually held at funerals. But as public interest grew, these spectacles moved into larger arenas. A ritual eventually transformed into the empire's greatest form of entertainment. Gladiators were not random fighters. They were trained in special schools known as Ludi. These institutions, surrounded by high walls, resembled prisons. Inside, strict discipline and harsh routines ruled. Trainees practiced endlessly with wooden swords, day after day. Grueling physical exercises built their strength and endurance. This training was the only way to survive in the arena. The Murmillo was recognized by his heavy armor and large shield. His helmet, often shaped like a fish, gave him a distinctive look. He was usually matched against lighter, faster fighters. The Retiarius stood out with his net and trident, unlike any other gladiator. With little armor, he relied on speed and agility, trying to trap his opponent in his net. His style of combat brought great excitement to the crowd. The Thraex fought with a curved sword and a small shield. The Hoplomachus, inspired by Greek hoplites, carried a spear and round shield. This diversity of weapons made each fight unpredictable. Different classes of gladiators were deliberately matched to create balance. This ensured the fights remained fair and suspenseful. It was part of Rome's philosophy of turning combat into spectacle. In the front row sat the emperor himself, observing the combats closely. His presence was both terrifying and honorable for the gladiators. Often, it was his judgment that decided their fate. The crowd filled the arena with thunderous cheers. Applause, shouts, and music rose into the sky. The stone walls of the Colosseum echoed the sound, creating an overwhelming atmosphere. Before the fight began, the gladiators gathered in the arena to salute the emperor. Their famous words, Ave Caesar, morituri te salutant. Hail Caesar, those who are about to die salute you, became immortal in history. When the swords struck against each other, the noise reached its peak. The crowd rose from their seats with every blow, cheering with passion. For Romans, these moments were pure exhilaration. Every fight was overseen by a referee, the Summa Ludus. He enforced the rules, signaling warnings when fighters broke them. His role kept the combats organized and under control. The fights were often bloody, and injuries were inevitable. But this only heightened the crowd's excitement. For the spectators, the sight of blood was the climax of the show. A defeated gladiator would kneel, awaiting the mercy of his opponent. This was the most critical moment for the audience. A life could end within seconds. The fate of the defeated often rested in the crowd's hands. A raised thumb could mean mercy and survival. A lowered thumb, however, meant certain death. Some gladiators fought with such bravery that the people saw them as heroes. Their names echoed in the streets, and their fame grew. Many even became admired figures, especially among women. But the truth for most gladiators was very different. They were slaves, stripped of their freedom, chained to a life of violence. Their survival depended entirely on their performance in the arena. There were also women who fought as gladiators, though rarely. Their presence shocked Roman society, but it fascinated the crowds. It showed that Roman spectacles knew no limits. Children in Rome saw gladiators as heroes and imitated them in games. With wooden swords, they reenacted famous battles. Gladiators lived not only in the arena, but also in the imagination of the people. Some emperors used gladiatorial games as political tools. Emperor Commodus even stepped into the arena himself. His participation caused both amazement and controversy. Only a few gladiators earned their freedom through courage and skill. For them, liberty was the greatest prize of all. It was the reward for years of blood, sweat, and survival. Today, the Colosseum stands in ruins, a silent witness of the past. Its stones bear the marks of centuries, reminding us of its glorious days. It has become one of history's greatest monuments. Gladiators symbolize both the grandeur and the brutality of Rome. Their story reveals humanity's fragile line between power, courage, and violence. Even centuries later, their legacy still echoes.
Subscribe for more forgotten battles.